Bias interrupters are proactive strategies designed to identify and mitigate unconscious biases in the workplace. They serve as a framework to interrupt biased practices and foster an environment of fairness and inclusivity. By implementing bias interrupters, organizations can dismantle systemic biases and promote diversity at all levels. Bias interrupters operate on the principle of recognizing patterns of bias and implementing interventions to disrupt them. This involves three key steps. Identification. The first step is to identify areas where biases may manifest, such as recruitment, promotion, or performance evaluations. This often involves data analysis and feedback mechanisms to uncover hidden biases. Intervention. Once biases are identified, specific interventions are implemented to interrupt them. These interventions can vary depending on the context, but may include structured decision-making processes, diversity training, or blind evaluations. Evaluation. After implementing interventions, continuous evaluation is essential to assess their effectiveness. This involves tracking metrics, gathering feedback, and adjusting strategies as needed to ensure long-term success. Consider a scenario where a tech company notices a gender imbalance in their hiring process, with disproportionately fewer female candidates being selected for technical roles. To address this bias, the company implements bias interrupters by they analyze recruitment data and identify potential biases in the selection process, such as gendered language in job descriptions or biased interview questions. Intervention. The company revises job descriptions to use gender-neutral language, implements structured interview protocols to minimize bias, and provides unconscious bias training to hiring managers. Evaluation. Over time, the company monitors hiring outcomes, tracking the gender composition of new hires. They find that the implementation of bias interrupters leads to a more balanced and inclusive hiring process, with a significant increase in female candidates being hired for technical roles. Incorporating bias interrupters into organizational practices is essential for creating a more inclusive workplace environment. By identifying and mitigating unconscious biases, bias interrupters pave the way for diversity, equity, and inclusion to thrive. Through proactive interventions and continuous evaluation, organizations can foster a culture where all employees feel valued and empowered, driving innovation and success.